Imagine playing soccer with the man who tried to kill you yesterday. A German soldier lifted his voice into the frozen night and sang, not a war cry, not a shout of defiance, a Christmas carol. Stille Nacht, silent night. Across the battlefield, a British soldier heard him. He didn't raise his rifle. He listened, and then he answered, singing the same carol in English. One by one, voices joined. German, British, French. Men who had been shooting at each other hours earlier were now singing together in the darkness. Then came the candles. Small flames flickering along the trench lines, hundreds of them, lighting up the frozen mud like stars fallen to earth. The next morning, something impossible happened. Men climbed out of their trenches, unarmed, no rifles, no bayonets, just men walking toward the enemy. Officers watched from both sides, fingers on triggers. One shot would have turned the truce into a massacre. No one fired. They met in the middle no man's land. German and British soldiers standing face to face. Enemies by order, men who had been trying to kill each other just days before. They shook hands. They shared food. British soldiers gave chocolate. German soldiers gave sausages. Cigarettes were traded. Photographs of wives and children back home were passed around faces they had only seen through rifle scopes. Then something happened that generals never expected. Then someone produced a soccer ball. A real one. Or maybe it was made from rags, accounts differ. But in the frozen mud of no man's land, they played soccer. Men who had been trained to kill ran and laughed and chased a ball. Together like children, the truce spread. Along miles of the front, soldiers climbed out, met their enemies, and refused to fight. Some sections celebrated for days. They buried their dead together. Men who had been lying in no man's land for weeks were finally laid to rest by soldiers from both sides, standing shoulder to shoulder. For one night, for one Christmas, the war stopped. But then everything changed. Morning came. The generals gave the order, shoot. Men who had shaken hands with the enemy now had to aim at the same faces they had laughed with. Some refused. They were threatened with court-martial. Some aimed high, firing into the air so no one would die. Some never fired another shot. But the war didn't care. It ground on for 4 more years. Millions more died. The Christmas truce of 1914 never happened again. In the wars that followed, generals made sure of it. They rotated troops to prevent friendships from forming. They bombed Christmas Day. They made sure enemies never saw each other as human again. But for one night, one impossible, beautiful night they did. Candles lit up the darkness. Enemies shook hands. And in the frozen mud, men who had been trained to kill each other played soccer together. One night of humanity in a war that had none.